guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Faith. I'm a mom to two sweet, awesome, draining boys. And I love Jesus, I love crafting, and I make these videos here, Jesus for Mommies. It's basically just trying to bring Jesus to mommies where they're at. Oftentimes on YouTube, trying to get cleaning motivation, trying to get motivation to organize, trying to get motivation to go do their dishes, whatever. But we know the only true source of life and motivation is Jesus. And so that's what I'm here for. That's my ambition, I guess, on YouTube, is to try to bring Jesus to mommies. Honestly, I think that we have the hardest job on planet Earth. And if anybody needs Jesus, we do. So that's why I'm here. One thing that I've seen on YouTube is that there's not a lot of Christian mommy devotionals or Christian mommy encouragement or inspiration. It's just a lot of mommy trying harder, cleaning harder, working harder to have a cleaner house or a skinnier body or a nicer looking whatever. And obviously we know that doesn't satisfy. And so I just want to bring y'all Jesus. I just want to bring you biblical truth and really create a foundation, a framework from where we can then go out and get cleaning motivation. If we don't have Jesus, we're nothing. I want to create just kind of a community of Christian moms encouraging one another instead of this whole mommy wars, critiquing each other, always comparing ourselves to other moms. I really want to create a world in a little space on YouTube where us mommies can encourage each other and talk about Jesus together and have somewhat of a Bible study in some ways. So if I haven't met you, if I haven't already talked to you, meet me down in the comments. I would love to meet you and for us just to kind of like gather and talk. I'm also thinking about starting a Facebook group. So if you guys think that would be a good idea or how I should do that or anything, any experience in that, you should comment down below and let me know. Anyway, let's dive into the video. So today I wanted to talk about finding beauty in the ordinary, mundane, average mommy life. Beauty in the toe punk stuck between your baby's toes. Beauty in that Amazon box that you really need to recycle, but you don't know if you're going to return those things or not. The beauty in your old house that's dusty or yucky or totally 70s themed like my house is. You know, so often I think we see these mommies that are gorgeous and have beautiful bodies, beautiful homes, and top-notch everything on YouTube, and that's totally fine, but we tend to think, well, their life is so beautiful and pristine and awesome. My life isn't beautiful, pristine, and awesome. But it totally is. You belong to Jesus. And so because you have the Holy Spirit in you, you are walking around throughout your day. You bring God with you. And so, you know, Sally Joe over here might have the best, awesomest kitchen, and she might also be super driven and clean all the time, and she has nothing wrong going on in her life and blah, 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 blah. But you have Jesus, and that's really, truly all that matters, even though sometimes it doesn't feel that way. So that was a big, long rabbit trail. Let's get back to the idea. So beauty in the mundane. And honestly, YouTube has really, truly taught me this. If you guys don't know, I took part in Vlogmas this past December, which I'm going to put a shameless plug for myself, and I'm going to link that up above. But I took part in Vlogmas, and a lot of mornings I would wake up and just be like,
what am I going to film on? Like, what would I make a video about? My life is so boring.
And I would just kind of film my day like you're supposed to in a vlog, and end up seeing, wow, all I was doing was folding laundry, but I didn't realize it was my son was running around my feet being cute and dancing or playing with a block or whatever. And I think it's important for us Christians to know God is writing a beautiful story with our lives. And so, yeah, there is beauty in folding laundry, in being overweight because you just had a baby and you got some extra skin flap. There is beauty in your entire life because it is part of God's redemptive story in your life and in his kingdom come. Sorry if you can hear my son's down there. Jay chilling, looking at the fan. Where's my phone? I have my notes of what I wanted to say on my phone. I think we often get tempted to think, oh, well, that person's life is more important than mine. Like something like, my husband's life is more important because he's bringing in the income and I'm just a stay-at-home mom cleaning the house and just doing dishes. But if you really think about it, your husband would not be able to go to work and work all day long if you weren't at home doing the dishes or whatever, because no one would be doing that, or he would have to pay somebody to do that. I think we also, especially if we're on YouTube and we're watching other moms, we tend to value the extraordinary. The families who get to live on the road all the time. I struggle with that. Like, oh man, it would be so cool to live in an RV and live on the road traveling all day long. When in all reality, I don't actually like driving on the road and I would get totally claustrophobic in an RV. But they have an extraordinary, interesting life. And so I value that higher than my own life and like idealize it as if it was something I would like when I wouldn't actually. Does that make sense? Hey bud, I'm filming a video over here, so if you can grunt a little bit quieter, that would be great. Seriously though, he's literally just laying there. He's so cute. He was staring at the fan and I just felt rude, like moving him. Okay, y'all don't care. Anyway, so we tend to value the extraordinary above the mundane, the ordinary, the average. And I think we really need to have a more holistic viewpoint. What I mean by a holistic picture is like all encompassing, the whole Bible. Let's just like look at the whole Bible. There's not one aspect of it that doesn't play into the storyline of God fulfilling his covenant promises with his people. We have to look at all of the scriptures from the Old Testament to Revelation. We see God fulfilling his promises to man and God revealing his love and himself out of his just grace and awesome generosity of himself. When we view our lives as a tool in his hand in the process of that story, which is how we ought to view our lives, we see that Mary also folded laundry, and that was super important in Jesus being able to then go into town and perform miracles or whatever. If you look at Proverbs 31, you see that the wife and all her sacrifices that she makes for her family and all the work that she does really supports, encourages the family towards being able to be fruitful and being able to do God's work and kingdom work. And so, let me grab. This is becoming a really bad habit where you join me in my videos, dude. If y'all are new here, this is Sutton. This is my second. He is almost 3 months old. He's a chunkster. He's over doubled his weight since birth, and he has got the hiccups. So that will be our background music. So let's look at 1 Corinthians 10:31 because I don't remember what I was just saying. I was probably like totally in the middle of an idea, but I don't remember where I was. So there we go. 1 Corinthians 10:31 says, so whether you eat or drink or whatever you do, do all for the glory of God. And that, y'all have probably heard that verse before. Everything that we do for the glory of God, not grumbling, complaining, oh, I have to do the dishes again, or oh, once I get this laundry done, then I can go do the important work, which is X, Y, and Z. No, it all matters. But I think that plays a part in like thinking holistically and also just thinking missionally about what we do. So not only do we want to think holistically, like see the whole picture of scripture and how we have the privilege of getting to play a part in God's redemptive story, but also we can think missionally and sacrificially. Everything is mission, whether it's washing the dishes, stacking chairs after Sunday school, folding laundry, or making meals for our family or for strangers. Everything is mission. If y'all don't know, my husband is a pastor, and he was just in his pastoral Bible study and was telling me about one of his pastor friends. Their church is going on like an evangelical venture day, and they're just going to go out into the neighborhood and evangelize. And I grew up doing that. But that kind of got us talking about, that kind of bothered me, honestly, to schedule a time and say, this is when we're going to go out into the world and tell people about Jesus. We're going to all wear our church shirts, and we're going to go out into the neighborhood, and we're going to have these scripted answers, and we're going to go tell people about Jesus. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing like inherently wrong with that. We are called to tell people about Jesus. But what bothers me is that we should always be telling people about Jesus. It shouldn't be scheduled and super planned out, and that it should be part of everything we do. And so that's what I want to encourage you guys. Like when you're folding your laundry, it is missional. Pray for those whom you're folding the laundry of. Or when you're stacking chairs after Sunday school, or when you're picking out the toe gunk from your child's toes, or vacuuming that rug for the 50th time, what you do matters. Like it should be done in worship and as a fragrant offering to the Lord, because you are his tool in his hands, and he has called you to motherhood right now. That can be really trying sometimes, and I have to remember that it does matter, and I'm doing it, and I don't know what will come of it or what my boys will absorb from watching me do housework faithfully, but I know that I did it as an offering to the Lord. In the everyday mundane, in the ordinary, is where God is at work, and where God is working and sanctifying and growing us and our children and our spouses. This is a quote from Paul Tripp. If God doesn't rule your mundane, then he doesn't rule you, because that's where you live. God is faithful to use our sin-ridden lives, and when we seek to honor him with our lives, though they may be sin-ridden, God is faithful to use them in his story and in his purposes, and for his kingdom to come and for his glory. And that is so humbling. We have the pleasure of getting to live in the ordinary and shouting his praises, shouting his glory and his beauty, and worshiping him. Mothering is hard, and it pushes me to my limits, and I have never been more broken than when I am pushed to my limits by motherhood, whatever the word is. And God is so faithful to use my life. The fact that I would be blessed to be a mom of these boys, that I would get to have this responsibility to raise them and to disciple them and to grow them into the men that they will one day be, is so humbling. I don't deserve one bit of it. I pray that we all will view it that way. And it is all so valuable and so important to the kingdom, and to just even y'all's welfare and your family's health and benefits and all that entails. So everything is mission in that we may not be on the actual mission field in Africa or India working at an orphanage or proclaiming the gospel in a foreign language, but it is missional in that we are doing it for the Lord. And it may not be fun, it may not be clean, it may not be awesome, perfect, all sparkly, Instagrammable, but it is an offering to the Lord, and what we do matters for the discipleship of these boys and of these kids, and for our husbands, and for the support, essentially, of the church and God's kingdom come. I think my eldest is awake. So trying to wrap this up so that it doesn't take super long for you guys. I know we all are time ridden and each moment matters. So everything we do should be an act of worship, declaring that we don't rule our lives, that God is our God and he rules our lives, and we glorify him and seeing the beauty in the ordinary and seeing his glory in the ordinary. So whether you're procrastinating against taking care of that to-do list, or you're a exhausted homeschool mom, what is it? We are a mess. Wherever you are, there is beauty. Christ reigns over that. When we do those things, the mundane, the ordinary, the average, is unto God, because God be the glory that we get to be here and do that and be called to that. And so I just pray that you feel encouraged and heard and seen. And let me just validate the fact that even though you don't have the most perfect house and children and wardrobe and face and body, that your average, ordinary, boring, mundane, whatever you view your life as, it is valuable, it is priceless, it is beautiful. And I encourage you to make it as a fragrant offering to the Lord. Ask the Lord what you're called to today, and offer yourself and your family as unto the Lord, and he is glorified and he is working in the mundane, in the ordinary. All right, I need to wrap this up because I think he just had a blowout. God has legitimized our life and made them, even the mundane, ordinary, menial tasks so important in the scheme of eternity. And I pray that you hear that and know that, and that really sinks in and encourages y'all's hearts today. I just pray over you and love you guys. Thanks so much for watching my video. I can't believe you made it to the end. You guys are awesome. Okay, love y'all. Bye.